Ultramart, the Library Credit Union, and Tapia Hospital.
At Tapia Hospital, caring and competent obstetric consultants will see you safely from prenatal care through delivery with a team of excellent pediatric and anesthetic support. Tapia Hospital, where the patient's safety comes first.
At Library Cooperative Credit Union, we have one simple goal: to help you grow. Because when you grow, possibilities expand. We're about growing wings, growing ideas, growing you. This is your time, a time when your plans and dreams fall into place, when what you thought to be impossible with our support is indeed achievable. And best of all, it's a time when you can look back and see your growth. So, on life's journey, set your goals high. We'll be with you every step of the way. And as you grow, so should your opportunities. Library Cooperative Credit Union. We're not a bank. We're better.
Looking for a one-stop shop for all your grocery and household needs? Look no further than Ultramart. We stock a variety of options from the world's leading brands, all at affordable prices. Whether you're looking for fresh produce, pantry staples, or household essentials, we've got you covered. And that's not all. Don't miss out on our ultra specials and promotions for a chance to win hundreds of dollars in vouchers, hampers, and special prizes. Visit any one of our 4 convenient locations today, or check us out on our Facebook and Instagram page. Ultramart, your one-stop shop for all your grocery and household needs. Shop smart. Shop Ultramart.
It's now time for Doctor in the House, hosted by Dr. Leonard Surage. Dr. Surage, a very good evening to you.
Good evening, Andre. Good evening, listeners, viewers. Today, Tuesday, 10th June 2025, we have another program, Doctor in the House. I have with me a lady who is fairly well known in nutrition circles. She is the chief nutritionist at the Ministry of Health, and by listening to her, I can know she's passionate about nutrition, etc.
And Dr. Surage is very well known in media circles as well.
In media circles as well. Oh, that I didn't know. So I wish to welcome her to the studio and welcome her to participate in that program with me. So, Lisa, welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Surage. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Welcome again, Lisa.
Thank you, Andre.
And I understood that every year the ministry does something regarding nutrition as it relates to the Caribbean challenges, etc. Can you please tell me a little bit, or the general audience, a little bit about what this year's program is about?
Okay, so every year within the Caribbean we celebrate Caribbean Nutrition Day on the 1st of June, and for the entire month we have a Nutrition Awareness Month. Okay. So this is observed throughout the Caribbean. It started a long time ago in 2004.
2004?
Yes.
That made about 22 years, 21 years.
Yes, and it stemmed from the high incidence of non-communicable diseases.
Okay.
So you can see far back, we've been trying to make strides.
But we will talk about non-communicable disease. I don't like big words in this program.
Yes.
But we'll deal about what that's all about. But I don't want to lose your trend of thought.
Yes. So so this year the theme is healthy eating, active living, sustainable diets for a healthier Caribbean. So that's the theme. So what we've been doing for the month is that we will have some talks around the topics at wellness centers. We want to do the schools, but we know during that month they usually get ready for exams, so it might be a little challenging. Of course.
Can you consider those who are not doing exams?
Yeah, we will still go to the schools. We might not be able to reach them. In fact, we go to the schools throughout the year.
Oh,
but just on the theme, I think the theme is a very timely theme. I'll expound on it so that people can understand how we can ensure that we have sustainable diets for based on our food choices. So what we do, like for example, come in on the media, talk to the people about, remind them about the importance of healthy eating. it's a sore point because we have so many health conditions. So we've been observing this every year with the sole purpose of creating awareness in the public on the importance of nutrition.
But do you think that over the 20 years it's been done, that much impact has been created?
No.
And why would you think that would be?
And I would say globally, we are faced with, I think, advertisement is powerful in driving our people to eat more of the refined foods. They look so attractive and
convenient,
taste.
And the taste good.
I think the taste is what overpowers everything, because people will have the knowledge of this is not good for you, and once they get the taste, they forget about everything and they say, I'll eat it, I'll die. Don't eat it, I'll die. But it's not as easy as that. Sometimes you suffer from illnesses before you die.
That's right. And I think also what we are seeing in the Caribbean, and many countries would have reported that even childhood obesity, you're seeing more of that.
On the rise. One in every three. One in every three child is overweight or obese in the Caribbean. Wow. Yes, and that's alarming.
Very.
That's alarming. It's almost like being overweight is almost becoming a norm. And so you look at it even from the sizes of our clothes. It's becoming a norm, and it shouldn't, because it's really killing our people.
What
slowly.
I have found though is that that looking at Carnival now and people exposing themselves, I am finding that compared to long ago, when I used to follow Carnival, etc., the people were slimmer. Now they don't feel any way being plump and
overweight, and
so it's an accepted thing. And so I find that the expectations have changed. The obesity has been accepted as a normal.
As a norm, the overweight. Even the men like. Well, I was told that the men like women a little thicker. But at the end of the day, we have to think of our health. It must be everybody will not be the same size, but there's a healthy size and weight for everybody. And once you get in overboard, it's time to wheel it back in and say, okay, I need to take care of myself before it gets out of control.
But how would you know what's a good size for you? How would you know?
You can get weighed. Your BMI is a very good indicator to see whether you are overweight.
Metabolic index, is it? Yeah. And the circumference, the skin thickness, and there are charts that are available from the insurance companies.
It's very easy to calculate. On Google, Google does that for you now. They have those calculators that is online. You put in your height, you put in your weight, and it gives you your BMI. It's not very effective for people who are very athletic and have a lot of muscle, because it will give you a high BMI when because you are higher in weight, but it will be muscle weight. But for the general public, it's okay.
But what I'm asking, how do I know that I'm supposed to be a particular size or weight for, say, my age, for example?
Okay, so if you go to, and that's why it's good to check up, you go to the doctor, you go to the nutritionist to see, they weigh you, they'll tell you your BMI. So if your BMI is higher than 25, they're getting borderline. If it's about between 25.9 to 30,
body mass index.
Over, body mass index, yes. So what did you say? Body mass index.
The other one is metabolic thing. But the body mass index is for your height and weight. For your height, the kind of weight that is
what you're supposed to be
carrying. It's a range, not an exact number.
Okay.
So there's a range, and so it's like a ratio for your weight, for your height. So what there's a range. There's no perfect science to say you should be exactly that.
Right.
There's a range, a healthy range.
I got you.
And then, sometimes you can feel it. But even, I'm not saying that's the best way to identify it, but like I said, it's an easy way. You don't go into the doctor, go into a nutritionist, they can calculate and say, okay, you are overweight. But I'm saying if you know your height and you know your weight, you can calculate it, and it will tell you if you are overweight, if you are obese, if you are overweight, if you are underweight. It tells you if you are underweight as well, or if you are healthy weight. And
But what do you think has contributed to the, as Dr. Surage was saying, this gradual acceptance of being overweight and so on? Do you think it has to do with what is being told by the media, by advertising? You had these shows promoting, accept yourself as you are, big is beautiful, that sort of thing. Do you think that contributed to this problem? And they say things like embrace your what you have, and this sort of message that was being disseminated over the last few years.
It might, but I think it has more to do with. It's almost like when you, a little example, when you hang around people who are overweight, and you slimmer, you kind of stand out. And sometimes, what happens, gradually you become that same size.
Yeah.
So you are around everybody who's the same size, so it's not a big deal. And that's what I think is slowly happening to us. It's like we are all waistline getting bigger, larger, and after a while it becomes the norm.
Because you associate with people.
With people, yeah.
And you
birds of a
kind of
feather
feel
flock
out of
together.
place not being so.
Now I watched lately. I've been watching a lot of African movies.
Me too.
So I think you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
99% of the ladies in those movies are plump,
Yeah.
right? Big bone and big behind kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's what you.
Some of the behinds are actually enhanced, and, I think,
Well,
and that's where the acceptance comes. It's like now it's this thing about everybody's getting those BBLs. So I think society plays
What's
a big.
BBL?
The butts.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I forget the name. They're trying to get enhance their butts. So it's called.
Okay.
I forget the
Mm.
terminology, but yeah. So
Plastic
it
surgery.
again, yeah. So that's society for you. Somebody comes with a trend and say, okay, now big and beautiful is in, and it's like it becomes accepted. So that thing before, the models were supposed to be very thin. That was accepted.
That
Everybody's
was one
trying
extreme.
to be thin.
That was one extreme.
Yes.
Would you say
Yes.
one extreme?
Yeah. And now everybody's like small waist and large hips is in. So it's society just
And I
changing.
That's
everything.
right. That's right.
The other thing is that it is very easy to put on the weight and to keep it.
Oh,
But
yes.
it's a tremendous amount of effort.
to
And it's
reduce
to
everything.
review. So you just go with the flow.
It is true.
And so it's easier to go and create a culture rather than
Very
staying
hard
on,
to lose it, because you would eat a cookie. Say you're supposed to have about 2,500 calories for the day, and you eat extra. Every 500 calories extra every day will put on about a pound in a week. And that is so easy. The 500 calories is like so easy to get. Maybe in a slice of cake or something, or a couple of scoops of ice cream, you get this. When you start to exercise to burn the calories of a cookie, you have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
A lot. The amount of calories you have to expend is like, it's not worth it.
When you go on that treadmill and you see you're sweating and
Only-
only 20
It's true. It's a lot of work to lose that. So it's like if you really want to keep your weight at a particular, it's like, you know what, I'm just gonna avoid this thing.
You said 2,500 calories. Is that the general number of calories for the typical person
They
every
usually
day?
use 2,000
Or 70
actually.
kilograms.
It's actually used about 2,000, but it's just like a guideline. So your calories would depend on your activity level, your age, your sex, whether you're male or female, and some other sort of things, but mainly your activity level.
But
So
sorry, go
all
on.
of us have what you call a basal metabolic rate. Your basal calories you should really operate, your body should function at. So I think for me it should be like 1,003 or 1,005, between 1,003 and 1,005. That's your basal for you to do any activity. And then you add based on how much physical activity you do, how much walking, etc. So it's something that can be calculated. for everybody.
So here's the problem. How do you ensure that you don't go past what is average? How do you ensure that you do
And
something
again,
like, because
it's
we
not
don't
exact.
we don't count calories. We don't look at a
do
box
not
and saying
even
I have 5
recommend
calories.
That. Yeah, I wouldn't even recommend that, counting calories. I've never done that. I would never even recommend that. But again, it's an approximation. There's no exact science in these things. Say you have to eat 2,500 calories. There's a range, so it's around that.
Yes.
A little 200, 300, back and forth. You will not see a big change in your weight.
What I'm asking is, how can you ensure that you keep it, right, about what you
About
just
the
meant. Yeah.
amount.
How do you because we don't go about counting calories. Most people don't
like,
do that.
It's like looking at your servings in your plate, and the quality of food that you have on your plate will kind of give you an approximation. Because if you are consuming high calorie foods, lots of fried foods, you don't even need to calculate, you know you're going over. But you would need a nutritionist to kind of help you, so you know the number of servings that you would need from each food group, and that will give you the approximation.
So basically,
I don't know if this is making sense to you. It's not something that you're supposed to just know just like that. It's something that you can be taught by a nutritionist. So but guidance is looking at your plate and making sure that you have is the serving sizes.
So the average person has to be aware of what they're really putting in their bodies to ensure we don't exceed the number of a certain number of calories.
Not to go
because you just said a
overboard.
while ago, trying to burn those calories it's a lot
But
of
the
work.
thing is that we consume way, like if you consume
Exactly.
a couple of hundreds, it's not going to hurt you. Like because we consume way too much. Some persons are consuming twice of what they're supposed to consume for a
I
day.
think make the plate smaller.
Yeah,
is one
and
thing.
let me tell you, this works wonders. I can give you an example. Like when you go to a hotel for a workshop, when you see these have those huge plates, I don't eat much. But at the end of the day, when you reach, even if it's vegetables you take on whatever there is, by the time you sit, you're like, look at the size of my plate. Now, I went to another hotel, they give us small plates. Everybody has small plates for food. So the plate, it's like, it's wonders. It's in a plate.
A small plate.
The
Even
size
the
of the
meeting,
plates.
I was asking Dr. Hospitalis that question in a CAFRA meeting, and he was telling me, when you go out your home, take out all the big plates, put small plates.
Yeah,
You
the
can always
smaller
go
plates
back and take
helps.
seconds, but you may not want to, because it does not all the thing that you put on your plate you will eat. Sometimes you eat, if you are very hungry, you would fill up your, especially if you actually serve yourself, you'll, and especially in a hotel where you have lots of choices, a little bit of that, a little bit of that.
It just climbs up.
It just climbs up, and then you
And-
start eating, and what you take, about a quarter is what you really need.
Yeah,
But you
we
just
eat way too much. Way too much, because we don't move so much. Back in the
Our parents, grandparents'
Yes.
time.
they were working the sun, and you see how fit they were.
Yes.
If you see any man that is really working they don't go to the gym, but they look better than people that go to the gym. They have the
That's
abs
true.
because they work in the soil, and
That's
so they
true.
need more calories. But we driving everywhere. What are we doing for all that food? And the food the way some of the food is prepared, fried, it's laden with calories. So it's our behaviors that we need to change.
But we eat a lot of fried stuff here.
Yes.
So you're saying that the fried food is a problem?
Oh yes. When you consume too much of it, oh yes. Yeah, because it's going to be immersed in oil, and so and that's why sometimes you recommend a little air frying or maybe stir frying with a little bit of oil.
Air fry is a good,
Yeah,
a good
but
thing.
when the food gets immersed in oil, oil is very high in calories. Oil fat is high in calories. We need it, but we don't need so much, and so we take in a lot of it, and
So
all that
if-
adds up.
If you look at the amount of calories the different foods have, carbohydrates, if you give carbohydrate 1 unit, then you give protein about 2.5 units, and then you give oils and fat about 4 units. It just goes to show, comparatively speaking, how much energy these things have.
So let me add
The
something.
fat has the most.
Let me add something. Okay, good. So our listeners just heard Dr. Surage recommend, and you endorse that, smaller plates.
Yes.
Right. But you have a smaller plate, but 90% of what you have is fried stuff. You have fried plantain, you have the fried fish.
It defeats the purpose.
So you see,
The only thing is that if you had a bigger plate, you might have even higher portions of those fried foods.
No, yeah, but
So it can still help, but you have to think of the type of food that you're putting on your plate.
but you
The
have,
quality,
yeah.
quantity is important, but quality as well. So what you're talking about is the quality. So it's not only about looking at the size of the plate is
And
important.
there can be some people who are addicted to food.
Yes,
That's for sure.
Lots,
Yeah.
a lot. A lot of people are
and
addicted
that
to
they have to eat at some point. So
So telling that person you're talking about there to use a small plate, that's Greek to them?
No, they can't use it. I
it's a
think that's
psychological.
you have to have a psychological support for them.
Yes, for these people.
Because it is an addiction
Yeah.
of some sort.
Just like
And
drugs.
Yeah, just
So
like
they
drugs.
can't live just like that. They need psychological help.
And secondly, but they can assist themselves, and I tell people that all the time. One, if you are in the habit of going to shop, don't go to shop when you're hungry.
Yes, worst time. Oh,
Because-
sorry, I was really I was thinking of myself, even with all my knowledge. When I go and shop and I'm hungry, I buy the worst things.
Yeah.
And it's like because you just want to get something and you end up getting 3 things that you should not have
That's
gotten.
right.
So it's not a good.
So the second thing I tell them, when you are at home and you open your fridge to take one item, don't look at those that are going to spoil and say, I'll eat it because it's going to spoil. If you made the error of buying it, don't make a second error of overloading yourself.
And something that works for me, self-control, we all don't have self-control. For me, my self-control is not buying it.
Right.
So I like chocolates, but I don't buy it. I would buy it once in a while. And trust me, I share it with my children. So it's like we each get a little couple of squares.
Yeah.
But I love it, and I'm human. I love chocolates, but I don't buy it. So if you don't buy it, you don't put it there, it's a very easy way of not having it. If it's there, it becomes an issue.
The third thing, don't starve yourself. Eat small meals often rather than starving yourself, because when you are super hungry, you come home, a few things happen. You eat faster, you eat more. There's a sense of satisfaction in your brain when you've had enough, the satiety center. That center takes a little longer for it to activate. So you might be overfilled and the center has not started to shut down yet. So you end up overeating. You eat fast, you eat quick, and you eat a lot. And so these people always put weight. Look for generally speaking, look for the slim people like her. And their habit is that they tend not to eat big plates of food, number one. Number two, they eat little bit often and not a large plate. Secondly, they tend not to eat late in the night. So regarding food, it is the type of food, the amount of food, and the timing of the food.
Now that satiety you were talking about, there is research out there that shows that obese people have some form of defect
Leptin and
there's a leptin and there's something else. I wish I had read about it, but it's a while back. My professor was telling me.
Glucin and leptin.
One of those hormones is like it's not working properly, and so that's one of the reasons they don't feel satisfied when they eat, and that's why they tend to eat more. They found that in obese people, so it might not be as clear cut. I don't know if it came about after they became obese, or if it's something that they had before. That I cannot remember.
But Lisa, I mean, we have to admit, the people who are selling all the stuff that we know is not really good, especially you, as a nutritionist, dietitian, right? They are on a mission. They're on a mission, and they're pushing their products on a daily basis.
What products are you talking about? Like, are you talking about
the oily stuff and so on, all the stuff that
you mean like the fast food?
Yeah, and all those.
Yeah.
They're on a mission. They're on a mission because they want to sell their products. Okay, and they're not doing anything unlawful because they're in business.
Yeah.
Right. And some of them have been careful to tell you how much is too much on the labels and things like that. Right. Now they're doing their work. I find that I have a little problem with the Ministry of Health. Okay, kind of like it's a seasonal thing when they have maybe some funding from some foreign entity sponsoring something. Then Pojab Lisa has to be coming there at that time. To me, where is the thrust, the constant thrust, and the constant educating of the public continually? Okay, to push the message of the things that are good. The people are doing the bad stuff. They're doing a good job at that, and we're not doing a good job of educating the public.
They have more money than us, so I guess they'll be able to push the agenda more. I look at Coca-Cola.
No. It's not they have more money than us. They just know they have to spend the money. I mean, look. Let me give you an example. KFC. KFC doesn't really need to advertise, but they advertise every single day.
Because
every single day.
It works.
So why is it now that
we don't have that funding? We cannot match these people, and not just in St. Lucia. Around the world, they just cannot match those big industries with the amount of money. Let me tell you what industries do. Industries pay the best scientists to think what would humans think about a particular food and how to get them to attract that food towards them, you know.
Do you think
they pay a lot of money to change science sometimes? So
do you think it's by accident that?
By the way, you have a call. Yeah. They said you can use the headphones.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll just take that call before we take a break.
Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Great topic as usual. But I have a question.
Let's hear you.
I have a 3-year-old son. Every time I go to the supermarket, I am stressed out about what snacks to get him. So can you give us an idea as to what snacks is appropriate for our children, please?
Good
Thank
question.
you.
Good question.
Yeah, very good question.
I can take that out.
Sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It can be a very stressful activity looking for healthy snacks. I go for it.
It's almost non-existent.
Yeah, it's
at the
almost
supermarket.
non-existent, and so
The dried fruits can be quite good.
I have resorted to making my own. I'm serious to the point where almost everything is unhealthy. But just for the caller's sake, a 3-year-old is very young, so I would not even advise her to get packaged stuff. But if she will, try to purchase things that are whole grain or says whole wheat. There are some crackers that are not refined. Stay away from things like with cream biscuits. Anything that is high in salt, high in sugar, stay away from it. Children do not need those juices. A lot of the juices are very high in sugar. If you have to give the child juice, I would recommend to not give the child juice at all. But you would select 100% those without added sugars. But preferably, if you can do your own at home, make your own little juices, your little smoothies for your child. Do not add any sugar. You can use the bananas, natural sugars. You have pineapple.
What you going to do? Making squash now? What you going to do? Making
With
squash?
the squash?
That
What are you giving
lime.
a 3-year-old for squash? The child of 3-year-old doesn't know this extremely acidic drink.
That's what we used to get as children.
And
Squash.
like I tell people, juice has become an added thing. You have to think of what you need, not just for the palate. You need the child to eat the fruit instead of the juice. So I would tell you, my lady, focus on giving the child fruits instead as a snack. Fruits
And there are these dried
vegetables,
fruits that are quite okay.
Yeah, but the child is 3 years. I'm afraid of choking. Yeah, some of the dried fruits are okay.
I have to say my bit on not giving the children peanuts and cashew nuts.
Yeah, it can choke them.
I have had to sweat enough to remove peanuts from their lungs.
So give the child a banana, give the child
in the
Under
lungs.
5 years, don't give them peanuts. Don't give them cashew nuts, because they can inhale the thing. It slides down into their lungs, and it's a problem, and I have to get it out.
Yeah, popcorn as well.
Wow.
Popcorn can really stick in your fruit.
Yeah, I can tell you.
And Dr. Surage, you're actually able to get that thing out of the lungs?
Yeah, you go in, you put them to sleep under anesthesia,
Gee.
get a rigid scope. And that's the same long day of breathing. So sometimes you have 2 to 3 minutes to take it out, and if you can't come out, let them ventilate.
Oh, man.
It is the stress. So I would say the children, any child less than 5 years, don't give them cashew or peanuts, especially peanuts. Not only that, the peanut has an oil, arachis oil. That's the name of the oil. The oil is a potent destroyer of the cells, the bronchial cells, and can create a lot of inflammatory process even after you have removed the nuts. So I would say stay away from that. Now I got the little
It has
chance.
some toxins. I love peanuts, but they have those that if they are the aflatoxins, I'm always afraid, wondering if the ones I'm eating has any aflatoxins.
Yeah, it's a kind of disease. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll take a little break and come back in just a moment, just to remind our listeners and our viewers that you're listening to and watching live on Facebook, on YouTube, and on X. Doctor in the House with Dr. Leonard Surage, brought to you with the compliments of Ultramart, the Library Credit Union, and Tapia Hospital.
Tapia Hospital Radiology Department offers 24-hour service. We provide you with X-ray, CT scans, and ultrasound imaging using the most modern equipment that produces the best images for your medical attention. Call the Radiology Unit at 459-2201. Tapia Hospital, where the patient safety comes first.
At Library Cooperative Credit Union, we have one simple goal: to help you grow. Because when you grow, possibilities expand. We're about growing wings, growing ideas, growing you. This is your time. A time when your plans and dreams fall into place. When what you thought to be impossible with our support is indeed achievable. And best of all, it's a time when you can look back and see your growth. So, on life's journey, set your goals high. We'll be with you every step of the way. And as you grow, so should your opportunities. Library Cooperative Credit Union. We're not a bank. We're better.
Looking for a one-stop shop for all your grocery and household needs? Look no further than Ultramart. We stock a variety of options from the world's leading brands, all at affordable prices. Whether you're looking for fresh produce, pantry staples, or household essentials, we've got you covered. And that's not all. Don't miss out on our ultra specials and promotions for a chance to win hundreds of dollars in vouchers, hampers, and special prizes. Visit any one of our 4 convenient locations today, or check us out on our Facebook and Instagram page. Ultramart, your one-stop shop for all your grocery and household needs. Shop smart. Shop Ultramart.
This is live on Rev-Up Slu, Doctor in the House with Dr. Leonard Surage. Dr. Surage, welcome back.
Thank you, Andre, and thank you, listeners, for staying on. Now, if you want to join us and make your contribution, you can call us on the landline at 572-9710 or WhatsApp at 287-0971. So, let us continue.
Let me just repeat the numbers.
Yep.
The fixed line is 572-9710, or you can WhatsApp 287-0971. Our special guest, Dr. Surage, is
Lisa Hunt. She is the Chief Nutritionist at the Ministry of Health. And she is very passionate about the subject. So, therefore, we are giving the best we can to inform people about the challenges we have in the Caribbean and in St. Lucia about nutrition and health. Earlier on, Lisa mentioned chronic diseases. Chronic does not mean it is severe. Chronic means it is long-term. Because people say they have chronic things as if it is a severe issue, but chronic means long-standing, long-term. And the chronic disease they're talking about is, for example, I'll go through it one by one. One is that you put on weight, and therefore, when you stand up, your weight is transmitted through your feet, through your ankle, all your joints. When there is enough weight to damage these joints, you get arthritis. Now, the chronic disease can give you things like cardiac disease. The high cholesterol goes into the arteries, narrow the arteries, and can, if the artery that is narrowed is in the brain, then you get a stroke. If it is in the kidney, you get a kidney failure. If it is in the heart, you get a heart attack. So wherever you get it, these bad eating habits with high cholesterol, high fat content, etc., leads to that kind of problem. And that's so when Lisa was mentioning chronic diseases, these are the kind of problem we are facing. And all these things are on the increase because of poor eating habit, not sedentary life, because gradually we're not doing manual labor in like our grandparents used to do. We are more sedentary, we're pushing pen and so forth. And as a result, we have to find ways in our life. We cannot be too busy to put a bit of exercise in your regime. Otherwise, you might find that you cannot even get up and do it. So I think we have to take the bull by the horn and begin to bring to reality what we are facing. People face it in silence, but I think that we must really begin to tell people how dangerous it is to have this very easy lifestyle and it's not only about eating, it's eating, exercise, what you eat, when you eat, how much you eat. The more dangerous foods are freer, they're less expensive, and as a result, people tend to do it.
And it is better too.
Yeah, I think so. And again,
and that's huge.
And again, our culture is more towards sweet things,
and fatty things.
And fatty things.
Yes.
The three things that are bad for you.
Yes.
The three bad things.
Yes.
Unfortunately, our culture believe in that. This lache cochon and fried this and fried that. That is, these are the things we have to begin to change our culture and put
and
more
our
science.
Palates, like you mentioned earlier, our palates, we are too westernized. We need to go back to the way we used to eat before. I saw something, a couple of times I'm driving from my home, and it really disturbed me. A mother, and sometimes we say we don't have money. A mother, she's taking her child to a preschool. The child was like a preschool child, and preschool is like before 5. Morning time, and the child is drinking a malt. So I don't understand, if you are leaving your home, you cannot give the child some tea. The child is drinking a malt, and then we say we don't have money. Now I do understand that the economy is hard. I'm feeling it too. So it's hard. But it's our choices. When you tell me you take almost $3 to buy a malt, $3 can do a lot more things than that,
Yeah.
You could make a little lower jet tea, and we need to go back to those teas that are actually very good for us, instead of buying all those refined, chocolate flavored. Sometimes you don't even really have much cocoa in there. All those refined things that we give the children that is full of sugar.
Milo and Ovaltine.
Yes, right. Don't like this at all. And I'm like, next day, maybe the next week, I'm seeing she has a soft drink for the child in the morning. I mean, you don't need a rocket science so that these things is not healthy for your children. So I don't know what strategy we should use to get to these parents.
I think I have seen it happen in other countries, whereby there is a behavioral modification component to the Ministry of Health, so that you can change your habits. And they have found that behavioral modification goes a long way into reculturalizing people. For example, I'll give you an example. There was they found that to clean the toilets for men was a problem. Every 5 minutes, because especially the urinals, people spill. The urine stream is weak and it spills. What they did, the behavioral modification expert came in, looked at the situation, and took a little green butterfly, a plastic butterfly, stick it in the middle of the urinal. That's all he did.
A green butterfly?
A plastic butterfly.
Plastic, so that they can aim.
That's all he had to do. Reduce the cost of cleaning that by 50%.
Yeah, so we need to find ways, or whatever has worked.
So you cannot remove the psychology and the behavioral science into habits. So we have to go back on and I think I was mentioning that in the previous program, we have to have a plan. You can't just let things happen to you. We have to have a plan, a 10, 15-year plan for health and where we're taking it.
Like, okay, I agree. Yeah, we need a plan, but there are things that we can do. As much as we want the individual to take control of what they consume and their choices, it has not proven to be very successful if the environment is not enabling. If the environment is not an enabling environment where it supports that way that we want them to eat, it's not going to work. And I give you a perfect example of the children, the school children. The school children will continue to eat the junk at the school because it is available. And so many countries have proven that once the access is removed, the consumption decreases, even if they're having it at home. And I know people would say, oh, if they don't have it at the school, they'll have it at home. Well, maybe they were having 2 at the school and 1 at home. So they remove that 2 and they reduce their risk.
That's right.
And, eventually, as you educate them, they may stop the 1 at home as well. So it has proven that our schools sell junk. It is heartbreaking. You see these people coming next to the schools. One is asking me to buy a donut for my child. I say, you're asking the wrong person that, I'm a nutritionist. And I wanted to say more, but I have to watch what I say, And she may not understand where I'm coming from because I know that's not her field. But I know what the damage is doing to the children. And I know we have to bring these people in a forum to explain to them, we are not trying to take your livelihood. And I know that people always fly that around. Livelihood. There are other things you can sell. I saw a guy buy the flyover with bananas and his thing, and people are coming to buy ripe bananas. Why can't we sell ripe bananas at the schools? Why does it have to be a package, high salt, high sugar, things that
because of shelf life.
Yeah.
Easy.
You see, if you bring the hand of bananas and you don't sell it, chances are you'll have to throw it away.
Start with a hand. You don't start with 2. A children will buy it. You're not coming in for a whole box of bananas. You can try it. Okay, you have done healthy. Let me try if they're going to eat. Let me tell you, we need to do something, because if we don't,
and we are overlooking the small one and the short one, little baby ones. These things taste really nice, and you can encourage the child to eat it because it is smaller and it is a kind of a meal for the child.
I think we are a nation that like ripe bananas, because even when it flies out of the shelf when you have bananas. So that's a good thing. But I'm saying we should at least do it at the schools as well.
Yeah, and limit the amount of junk food.
Yeah, we need to remove those junk, and it's like
gradually you have to reduce it.
That's a sore point, because some principals have done it. And even when 2017 we did a research in the schools, and we realized the schools where the children consume the most unhealthy drinks, we were looking at the drinks at the time, were the ones that had the access. And the schools that had the lowest, because the research was looking at the frequency of soft drink consumption, and the schools where there was no access, no canteen and nothing, they consumed less. I expected that, and it proved to be true. So we need to remove that access.
So our schools are still allowed to sell those
junk. Oh, if I show you
the schools itself, I would imagine maybe.
The schools as in the canteen. So some schools have a canteen operator that is not from the school, but some schools operate the canteen.
Right. So in those,
but they can still control what the canteen operator
sells.
Some schools are actually model schools, And I'm gonna tell you, Andrew, this is one of the projects I will be taking on. I'm actually right now planning a nutrition conference for the principals of St. Lucia and but it's mainly for the principals.
You have to sensitize them.
I don't even want to do the talking. I want other countries to come down and show them how it has been successful removing those junk from the schools. So actually I had a meeting today with some outside agents. We're trying to have this this conference for the principals. I lost my train of thought, what I was actually going to say. Okay, it will come back. But we are working on that conference, and what we want to show them is it can be done in other Caribbean islands. It's being done. Why
Jamaica has made a lot of strides. They're a perfect example.
I'm jealous of these countries because of the strides that they are making. You understand? Because And my passion is for the children. You know why? Because I feel like children at that age, not thinking of diseases. Adults, you can say, well, okay, let me not eat certain thing. I know myself. But children, they're not thinking that way. And, you know, they just stuffing themselves with those unhealthy food items. And then they are missing out on all the nutrients that will help them to grow and help them to function well, changing their own DNA. You know, DNA can be changed now because of the food that you eat. That is new science, you know. You can change your DNA. You can say, okay, because my mother had diabetes, I must have diabetes. No, if you eat differently from your parents, you can change that. And that was powerful. I when I saw that science,
really?
I was excited. Yes, because you can change that. You are not doomed to have what your
but
parents
the information that we're getting from the scientists is that, well, it's a factor. It's part of life, and there's nothing much you can do about it. That's the message we
about what?
About your basically what your parents pass on to you at birth and so on. It's almost like it's inevitable.
Science is new. That was before. You can change that. That was before. Now the DNA can be changed from what you eat and your lifestyle can be changed, and that's good science, because you don't want to feel like, okay, because my family had this and that. Yes, maybe there is the gene where you will be at increased risk,
right.
But it's saying if you change your habits, you don't. It's not a must that you have it.
And I think a lot more has to be said about how you can influence the genes by adopting good habits.
Yes, and what they call it, genomics. It has a name.
Genomics.
Genomics, or the gene. I didn't come ready for this thing, but yeah.
Genomics.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's exciting. I was happy to see that, because I don't want, because even my family had something, I'm gonna get it.
And even as I said some time ago, that 2 people got Nobel Prize in medicine for that same thing: how to increase longevity, how to make you live longer by
the way you
the DNA replication system. When I was talking about the DNA is like the crimp on your shoelace, that if you had removed that crimp on the shoelace would just fray out, and the DNA would just open up and allow other entities to come in. However, if you had the crimp, then the DNA remained intact. So when there is multiplication of the DNA, you find that if it is frailing, other bits can be added onto it and can give you the cancers and can shorten your life. But there are ways you can protect the DNA through exercise, through eating, through a lot of different areas. And they're saying that even the Germans can give you a package that basically can improve the quality of life and the length of your life.
Do you know that Japan, I wanted to add to what you said there, but Japan has the lowest obesity rates. In children, childhood obesity is 0 point something. Why I watch what the schools why we cannot copy that model in the Caribbean?
But I think, okay, for example, you as the head of nutrition can put a team together and begin to make recommendation to the ministry. If you have not done it.
Yes, we have done that. I don't even want to go down that road, because we've been trying to ban and remove those unhealthy drinks. From 2017, we had a campaign to get it out of the schools. We didn't do any cabinets approval, etc. We just went through campaign and educating, different target groups. And we did an assessment at the schools after, and about 80% of the schools removed the soft drinks from the school. That was after the research. When we found the research that we did in 2014, when we found that the results, we realized it was access. So we went back to the schools, we had workshops with them, and we informed them, and about 80% removed it. So then slowly they started bringing it back. Yeah, and that's when we tried to get the cabinet.
So you have a call, by the way. You have a call.
Hello. Hello.
Good evening, Andre. Good evening, Doc.
Good evening, sir.
And good evening to our special guest, Lisa Hunt.
Miss Lisa Hunt.
Good evening.
Good evening. Okay. Thanks for accepting my call.
You're welcome. And by the way, Lisa is a nutritionist.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's nice. Miss Lisa,
Yes.
I have a little concern. No, I won't say concern, but I am 61 years old. I mean, I was born in 1964. Now, growing up, I remember we had a lot of fruits in St. Lucia, especially in the area where I'm from, and especially in the 70s. And I remember people were just telling you, look, I have those sour sop, paw fruits. Just come and take it. They were not selling it for anybody. Why now people are selling those things so expensive? Do you have any idea?
I guess it's in demand because we know that fruits are very healthy, so people
And
are
there's
trying
money
to,
behind it.
and people want to make a living. So instead of just giving it away, you sell it to make a money because people understand the value of fruits and vegetables.
So that's the main reason. That's the main reason you figure they are selling that so expensive now, because these things were in abundance. The guava, the pawpaw, the soursop, even the mangoes. You used to get
If
mangoes
people
in
were not buying
abundance.
it, they would not sell it. I mean, I
There's a
do
demand
feel
for
like
that. I mean, there's a
the
demand for
yes,
fruits. Oh, yes.
Mangoes sometimes look a little pricey.
Do you know how much you can get soursop as much as $7 a pound, you know?
And I have sour sauce
Yes.
as it falls at my home.
Oh, yeah?
That happened.
So fruits and vegetables are extremely, especially when it's coming out of season.
Yes.
So there is a glut at some
avocado,
point.
like
yeah.
avocado. I love
Yeah.
avocado. I wish it was seasonal. Like, I mean, all
The
year
call is still
round.
there. The call is still there.
But
so
back to your point, caller. I think another thing is that the social dynamics have changed. During the earlier time you're mentioning, it was a more cordial, friendly relationship.
Trade.
You have, I can give you.
Trade.
I have extra, you can give me.
Yeah.
So the idea of giving was much more prominent.
Yes.
As society gets more complex, it gets more impersonal and more and more money oriented. And so therefore you have to bear that in mind.
Okay. So the last point to me, Miss Lisa, you work with the ministry government, eh?
Yes.
Okay. So has the government made any plan to, let's say, a certain parcel of land anywhere on the country, like this will be just for agriculture?
Well, I work in Ministry of Health, so
You wouldn't know.
agriculture. I
Oh,
wouldn't know,
okay.
yeah. But agriculture has been making strides in trying to.
Okay,
grow
that's my
some
little
fruits and
tip.
stuff.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
caller.
I think
Thank you.
while you're on there,
Thank you.
caller,
Have a good night.
there is another thing, and that is, I think government was encouraging people to have kitchen garden.
Yes, it
So-
helps
so-
a lot. I have my
and I-
mangoes in my
Yeah, and I
backyard.
think that's a good
does.
initiative from their perspective.
They've also been
Very
pushing
good.
to buy local,
Yes.
to eat the
and that's
the ground
sustainable
provisions and those
diets.
things.
I mean, that one is a whole topic. How we can live in a healthy planet, healthy food. Eating local and buying local can be one way of contributing to that. Yeah.
You know, it would be remiss of me if I didn't mention something I think which is very important.
The
because
caller still on?
no, he left already.
Okay, sorry.
We spoke about fruits and vegetables. Now, there's a tortoise on some island in the Seychelles. His name is Jonathan. Now, tortoises have apparently they have the capacity, and it was the DNA, to live to be, I think, about 150 years, somewhere around there. This tortoise, and you can check it out, you can go check it out. He's 192 years old.
Oh wow!
Yes.
192.
192. Okay, I think they said he lost now. I think he has cataracts, and he also lost his sense of smell. However, he's still impregnating females. Okay, and you know what's his diet? Fruits and vegetables. That's his diet. And he said his favorite fruit is bananas.
See, but when you look at the people who live long in any country, just look at the people who live long. Mostly plant-based diet. You get nobody that has a meat diet and they're living long, 100 and something years. But if you look at their diets and their lifestyles, usually has something in common.
But I don't believe all the
And
time.
stress too has a lot.
I don't believe all the time it is a lack of ability to buy the food. I think also we are lazy. There are people who have kitchen garden at their home. I have seen in Barbados, somebody would have a little yard, and just like
You can plant
30
a
square
lot.
foot of land, and they can
Yes.
grow everything on it.
Also, Dr. Surage and Lisa, it's also a sort of lack mentality. Sometimes we have the money, we have the resources, but we just believe as though we have to save something. For example, if we have a sanitizer or something, we have to pack it with water to make sure it can last you 3-4 months, that sort of thing. We always diluting things and so on.
Diluting things.
It's a kind of lack mentality, and I think that that is pervasive. People have the
I see
money,
what you're saying.
yeah, they have it, and they just prefer to buy the cheap things, thinking as though I'm going to save a few dollars.
Stuck in for sure, you know. And again, it's about choices. The economy is hard, but it's a really good time to say, you know what, let me make my dollar stretch. You don't need all that food. Number one, it's increasing your risk of heart disease and chronic diseases. You are putting on weight. Cut back. I see that that's such an easy winner because it's like your food, the amount of food you can eat, some people are eating in one sitting, can be what they could eat for 3 meals. And it will be good for their body. It'll be doing something good for their body. So I'm like, that's a way of making your dollar stretch. Well, I'm doing it, because I make the dollar stretch. You don't need all that meat, and even meat. There are so many negatives about meat.
There's one little thing I wanted to engage you all in.
Yes, before we end, Dr. Surage, before we end, we'll have to look at the clock.
Yeah. We'll finish in 1 minute. When you want to...
Oh, you have a call. Let's take a quick call.
Okay.
Yeah, before we end. All right.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Hello.
Hi, Andre.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, good night.
This is Laura.
Hi, Laura.
Yes, so I just wanted to, I didn't even know you guys used to have this program on evenings. I don't really listen to the radio in the night, but I'm picking up my mom, and I just happened to tune in, and I'm hearing the discussion.
Thanks.
A very thoughtful discussion, but I just wanted to weigh in on the first caller. And the concern he had, he was asking Lisa a few questions, and I just wanted to weigh in on that. The answer to his questions is back in the 70s, the population of St. Lucia was much smaller.
Yeah.
All right? And so it was easy to share with everybody because everybody knew everybody. The population was much smaller. Second of all, because the population was much smaller, fruit trees grew more abundantly. So the supply was greater and the demand was less.
Yeah.
So now that you have a bigger population, there's a greater demand and less fruit trees, and so the supply is lower. And so Economics 101 will tell you when your supply is low and your demand is high, your price is high. Now you have more people needing, not just wanting, but needing to eke out a living. So things that they could have given out for free back in the day, they can no longer, they don't have the luxury of doing that, and now they have to sell it. Much to the chagrin of some people, but you know, it is what it is. Everybody needs to eke out a living, and so if this is one way of doing it, then they will do it, as opposed to begging and asking for handouts. They will use what they have, the resources that they have, to be able to earn a living. So these are some of the answers to the questions that the gentleman was asking. One, the population was lower, so the demand was lower, and the supply was in great demand because there were a lot more fruit trees because there was more arable land and less land being used for housing and commercial activities. Now you have a higher population, less volume of trees, of fruit trees, and so the supply is lower and the demand is higher, causing the price of those fruits to be higher. I hope that he's listening and that he has heard those answers that I'm providing for him for his questions. Sorry, but great show. I'm quite enjoying it. As usual, Lisa is very informative, and she has a wealth of knowledge. Thank you so much for taking my call.
And caller, just so you know, this program is on every Tuesday evening from 6 to 7.
Okay, so I'll be listening from now on.
All right, wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you.
Andre.
Bye-bye. Have a blessed night.
Bye-bye.
Yes.
Bye.
Yes, Lisa,
Yes.
thank you very much. That's a good contribution from her, at least clarified, add some value to the discussion. Yeah. So I'll say that essentially quality of citizenry. When you have high quality of citizens, when at the time of adversity they get innovative. When you have low quality, at the time of adversity they turn beast. They begin to get angry, they begin to fight each other and so forth. So I think that part of the issue is that we must strive to have better quality of minds, better quality of attitudes, etc., for us to move the country forward.
Food is so powerful. Food is so powerful. Food, I mean, we're not even touching the base of the power of food. When it comes to talking about food as your medicine, the gut, and all these things, it's so powerful. I think that people need to know all these things. You know, I have to.
Because look
see how
now you actually give me some information I wasn't even aware that now, based on what you eat in your lifestyle, that can change your DNA.
Yes, it was.
That's amazing.
When I heard that, I like to hear things like that, so I would be, listening to
Adaptability. The organisms adapt to the environment, and it will.
That's a power. Body is powerful.
But let me ask you, in terms of the changing the DNA, now we're thinking about it in a positive way.
Yeah.
But can it also be negative?
Yes, because
that's why you form the
if you're
cancers.
eating badly, then you're now changing it to be more prone to these diseases. So yes.
And the viruses can enter the DNA and can alter it and can give. You can get a virus. Some cancers that are caused by viruses.
Eating badly, you weaken your immune system, so your ability to fight diseases would lessen. There is so much. This
exactly.
Nutrition is so vast. We could never ever.
Well,
reach
nutrition
the end of it.
Embraces everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
It's just. I just feel like as a country, we have not appreciated the power of nutrition and food. We have not. And it's sad, but hopefully one day we will get there.
Yeah, I think we must, like you're doing, is to regroup, organize yourself, and begin to provide more advice, so that
more education.
A lot is the education, and that's why I decided to do that program in the first place.
Yeah,
because I felt that if you keep
I will have to avail myself somehow to do a bit more. Because I do enjoy doing it. To me, knowledge should never be kept with somebody. It should be shared.
I'll have to call you back again one day.
No problem. I am. He knows I am always ready and willing to talk about what I know and share it with the public.
So you have given me the red light, so I have to leave. But before I leave, I would say that I wish to thank the callers for their contribution, which is quite significant, and I enjoyed it. To thank the listeners and the viewers for their continued support and partnership. So, and Lisa, thank you very much for being here.
Thank
this
you
is the first time you're doing the program with me, and I quite enjoyed it.
Thank you. You're welcome.
And Mr. Host, thank you very much for having me around.
And Dr. Surage, thank you for your service. You as well, Lisa.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay, you've been listening to and viewing Doctor in the House with Dr. Leonard Surage, heard exclusively on Rev-Up Slu every Tuesday evening from 6 to 7. So join Dr. Surage next week Tuesday, God willing, for another Doctor in the House. Brought to you with the compliments of Ultramart, the Library Credit Union, and Tapia Hospital.
At Tapia Hospital, we operate a 24-hour emergency service for all your urgent healthcare needs. Our qualified medical specialist will be on hand to ensure that you receive the best of care. Call us at 459-2617. Tapia Hospital, where the patient's safety comes first.
At Library Cooperative Credit Union, we have one simple goal: to help you grow. Because when you grow, possibilities expand. We're about growing wings, growing ideas, growing you. This is your time. A time when your plans and dreams fall into place. When what you thought to be impossible with our support is indeed achievable. And best of all, it's a time when you can look back and see your growth. So, on life's journey, set your goals high. We'll be with you every step of the way. And as you grow, so should your opportunities. Labrie Cooperative Credit Union. We're not a bank. We're better.
Looking for a one-stop shop for all your grocery and household needs? Look no further than Ultramart. We stock a variety of options from the world's leading brands, all at affordable prices. Whether you're looking for fresh produce, pantry staples, or household essentials, we've got you covered. And that's not all. Don't miss out on our ultra specials and promotions for a chance to win hundreds of dollars in vouchers, hampers, and special prizes. Visit any one of our 4 convenient locations today or check us out on our Facebook and Instagram page. Ultramart, your one-stop shop for all your grocery and household needs. Shop smart. Shop Ultramart.
Rev-Up St. Lucia is located at Unit 4, Gablewoods Mall, Sunny Acres, Castries, St. Lucia. Tune in to us at 97.1 FM.